Hey, it's Mark here. I'm going to make a video here on show you how I bend plexiglass with a heat gun. I have cut this out on my table saw with a fine-tooth blade, and it cuts it really easy. It's really easy to cut out exactly what you want as long as it's square. And what I want to do here is I want to bend on these lines, and there's one on each corner, and we'll make like a tray. And I'm leaving the paper on because this paper, the glue has failed. It's old plexiglass, and it just doesn't peel off like it used to. But once I use the heat gun on it, and after this piece of plastic's all hot, it's fairly easy to peel off, and then I'm just left with the adhesive that I have to get off with Gooby Gone. So for this demonstration, I'm going to leave the paper on, and I'll show you how I bend plexiglass. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is the biggest tab here. And what I have done is I have some scrap pieces of wood that I've cut, and I'm going to place two pieces of wood. I'm going to clamp them with these clamps here onto either side of this mark here. That's right where I want to bend. Basically, I'm kind of making like a metal brake for this plexiglass. Okay, so now I've got these clamps on, holding the piece of wood on either side, right along the line I want to bend. I've got the clamps obviously facing away from me. I've removed the little plastic things here from this side because I'm going to be putting a bunch of heat here and those little things will melt. And I've tried to back these off a little bit from the edge. Okay, now I've got my top piece of wood attached with the clamp facing me because I want to bend this piece away from me, and I don't want this rod in the way. Okay, so now I've exposed just this part of the plexiglass where I'm going to apply the heat. Okay, so I have a Harbor Freight heat gun here. I'll put it on high. I'm going to go back and forth along this line, and I'll only be applying heat right to the area that I want to bend. And once it starts to get soft, this right here will start to droop towards me, and I'll grab a hold of it because I want to bend it the other way, but I'll just hold it. And as you start to bend it, you can kind of tell what parts are not bending yet, so you'll apply a little bit extra heat to that. Once I bend it and I get it back, I want to do a 90-degree angle here. I will look at the end, obviously, and I will try to estimate my 90-degree angle, and I'll hold it with this wood on there for a minute until I deem it's time to pop this top one off so I can look at it from the end. So I got me some leather gloves here, so I can manipulate this without burning myself once it's going. And then once I pull this board off and I'm doing my final adjustment, it's starting to harden, I will I have a scrap piece of plexiglass here. I'll start to fan the joint there and harden it to fix it in place, and then I can move on to the next one. So I'll speed up the video here so you don't have to watch it all, but here I go. I'm just slowly moving back and forth, and this long stretch will take a little while. The short ones go pretty quick. So there you can see this is now starting to droop, so I'm getting there. Even though it's drooping, I don't want to force anything yet. I just keep working it back and forth till I can feel it giving way, getting molten. I'm putting just a slight upward pressure on this bar so I can feel how flexible it's getting. Okay, so now I just felt it give way. I'm going to keep putting heat on it though. I want to make this joint as straight as, as sharp as a edge as I can, so I'm pressing down on this piece of wood and I'm looking at the side to make sure I have a 90°. I'm going to go ahead and pull this clamp off. Get my other glove on. Got to do this quick. I'm going to hold this piece of wood here, and again I'm going to press down. So I want to try to make this curve as sharp as possible. I don't want a big round edge. Okay, so I'm looking at both sides, and now I am going to, you could use if you had a blow dryer that blew cold air, it'd lock this in place really quick if you were doing a big project. And you could also blow on it. I've done that to lock it in place. And once it starts to get stiff, I'm also going to pull these other clamps off so I can pick it up and look at it. Here we go. Pull these off. I want to make sure I got a good 90° going. See, it's a little round there. I could have got that a little sharper. This side's pretty good. And I could, reheat it, but I think that's pretty good. Looks like I got a pretty good 90. So I'll just wait for a minute, let that solidify before I move on to the next bend. Okay, here I'm set up to do my next bend here. I've just exposed just a little bit of the plexiglass there. Got my clamps all ready to go. Let me bend this one and get this one going. Alright, I can start to feel the plexiglass giving way. I just keep putting heat on it. It looks like my battery said it had juice, but it ran out partway through that. Anyways, so I made that bend there. So I got that one done. Now I'm going to move on to these two ends. Those are a lot easier. Okay, here you can see I've set up the same way. I've exposed just a little gap there where the heat will hit the plexiglass with my two boards and my clamps. And I'll just repeat the same thing. And when the plexiglass gets soft, this will start moving up here. This one's a lot easier because it's so much shorter than those other ones. It'll be a lot faster. Okay, see how fast that one went? So these, on the ends, I only wanted a 45° angle. I'm going to blow on it to lock that shape in. And it's hardening on me nicely. And there we go, getting hard. Alright, so there I did my 45. I'll go ahead and do the other end, which you don't need to see because you've already seen it, and then I'll use my heat gun to remove all the plastic, the adhesive, and clean it all up, and it'll be ready to install. Now if you decide that one of your angles didn't come out just right, it's plexiglass. All you gotta do is heat it up and adjust it and move on. I hope this video helped you out, and thanks for watching.